Hello, my imaginary friends. I'm glad that you're back to finish this story with me. I've really been enjoying reading about our founding fathers. They're very interesting. This tonight, we're going to learn about George Washington. George Washington. He was our first president. His nickname is father. He's father of his country, it says here. And he was born February 22nd, 1732, and died on December 14th of 1799. And so it tells me some interesting things about George Washington. George Washington was the first president of the United States of America. Before that, he led the Continental Army in the American Revolution against Great Britain. He was a big guy and a great dancer. He had no patience for bad manners or loud arguing. As a general, he was fearless, striding through the battlefield while bullets flew past. As president, though, he was extremely cautious, knowing that everything he did would provide an example for all presidents to come. However, one of these examples has never been repeated. Washington is the only American president who, as commander-in-chief, actually led his army in the field. The enemy? American citizens, working-class Pennsylvanians who had been singled out to pay taxes on whiskey they were making, even as wealthier merchants were not being taxed. Refusing to pay what they thought was unfair taxes, they staged what is called the Whiskey Rebellion. Washington felt quite strongly that the citizens should quiet down and pay their taxes. And they did. You do not mess with George Washington. Thanks. I feel like I should be praying to you instead of God. Thanks, George Washington, for making sure I pay my taxes. Okay, he had some famous quotes. Want to know what they are? Me too. The fate of unborn millions will now depend under God on the courage and conduct of this army. Another famous quote, my first wish is to see this plague of mankind, he means war, banished from the earth. It has, in brackets, it has the plague of mankind. War in brackets, banished from the earth. I guess war is the plague. Is that what you assumed? Silly you. He was being literal. Okay, next famous quote. We ought not to look back unless it is to derive useful lessons from the past errors. Okay. I don't think we're doing that. And his last famous quote. To bigotry, no sanction. To persecution, no assistance. Okay, here's some interesting stats. This makes me think of, this would be like his dating app information in today's terms. Height. So we're talking about George Washington. Height, 6'2". He weighs 175 to 200 pounds. His shoe size, a 13, ladies. His political leanings, straight. Did not lean. Jobs held. Land surveyor. British military officer, Commander-in-Chief of Continental Army, first U.S. president. Oh, come on. 1789 to 97. That makes him very attractive. And he was a gentleman farmer. And the years served in the British Army, 7. Years served in the Continental Army, 9. Now it's turned into more of like his resume. Education, homeschooled. Excellent. Languages mastered, English. His stance on France, nah, neutral. His hobby, I enjoy riding horses and fishing. That's a farmer's only. Okay, sorry. Back to the book. He's wealth. Here we're back. We're to the good stuff. Here's what everybody wants to know. He is extremely wealthy. That's like, do you want to date a millionaire? 500. It says that extremely wealthy. It says that in the book. $525 million adjusted for inflation. He was the wealthiest of all the presidents. His nickname, Father of his country. His political party, none. Main residence was Mount Vernon, Virginia. Land owned, 58,000 acres. Sheep owned, 600 to 1,000 sheep. Mules, 57. Human slaves, holy shit, 316. They were real close to the sheep. Position on slavery, totally against it. Religious faiths. He's Anglo, what is this? Anglican, Episcopalian, Anglican, Episcopalian, and a supporter that's hyphenated. Or like, a slashy line. Anglican, Episcopalian, whatever hand I'm shaking, and supporter of religious freedom and tolerance. His achievements, he started America. And his opinion on the Boston Tea Party, against it. Not a fan. And so that ends our little lesson on George Washington. Our next chapter tomorrow night is going to be Benjamin Franklin. So we'll get to find out, I don't know, how many sheep does he have? Good night.